Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Fintech Frenzy live show. Okay, so today, let's just jump right into it. We have Affirm earnings. That was very exciting. Happy to see that. However, some shareholders might not have been so happy, but we'll talk about it. Next, we have Adyen earnings. Okay, that happened in the morning. That was very exciting. We had some Shopify news built into that. We had SoFi news built into that. We have some additional Shopify news that they reported on their own, but between Affirm and Adyen, I think that we should have a pretty full show there. So I don't want to go bleeding into some more topics. But first off, I want to talk about Adyen for a second. Maybe this is not a company that you guys have heard of. In terms of the American population, it's not as popular, but this is a company that I have spoken about for some time. This is actually a screenshot off Twitter that I just posted today of me and Tevis talking about this company and how I was pitching it to him during an old series that we had called the Stock Tank when the company was $6.80 a share. Today, why isn't it going? Okay. That was actually pretty well timed. That was on September 25th that we did that live stream. Today, it had passed the $15.50 mark. Now, to be fully honest with you guys, I did not actually continue holding on to this company up into the 15s. See, this is why you have to be patient. I actually sold in around this range. I saw it past the $13 ranges, and I said, you know what? That's a good enough amount for me. Kind of hit near these ranges once again, and the company did see some real problems during this crevice. Earnings came in a little bit worse than expected. It was going to take them roughly 2-3 years to get back to the margins that they wanted to see. I thought, you know what, 3-month trade is not too bad to see almost 100% on your trade. Why not bail out then and there? So that's exactly what I did. But after they reported earnings today, and we can talk about it today, the stock had actually raised even higher up into the 1550s. That's my boo-boo, okay? But still, very good trade. A fun one. If you guys are interested, by the way, in learning more about that company, like I said, we did a Stock Tank episode on it. You can look it up. It's very interesting. We're going to talk about that quarter today. So, really quickly as well, Adyen, I'll give a brief explanation. I guess I got to go into their numbers anyway. Adyen is a payment processor that competes very closely with the likes of Stripe, okay? They're a full modern solution, mainly based fully digital, okay? They're bleeding into unified commerce and different platform solutions like Shopify, for example. They deal with the largest customers in the world. So you have companies like Amazon that need to deal with them, right? That's even one of the things that they said in their earnings call is that they saw a ton of part of their digital segment actually came from one very specific client. They didn't actually name drop, but they said this is actually a lot of it is from a very strong client. Now, I'm going to get a little bit technical, and I apologize. Nubank is reporting on February 22nd, guys, by the way. So is Square. I'll probably end up listening to Nubank and then doing Square the next day. And hit the like button because this is why I talk about SoFi. It's because we have barely any views today, and it's like, guys, there's seriously great companies that are available outside of SoFi. But anyway, this is why YouTube pigeonholes you into these corners. But that being said, okay, Adyen. What was I talking about for a sec? I wanted to get a little bit technical in terms of payments. This is great information if you guys are getting into fintech. But essentially, whenever you have companies like Amazon, like Meta, like Shopify, they do so much volume that it's not about picking one singular payment processor that deals with your entire company. With very, very small companies, that can be fine, right? And even as you scale, and I'm talking by small companies, you can be as high as $10 million in total payment volume flowing through your site, and you're still pretty small compared to the grand scheme of things of some companies just flowing in billions, right? But as you start to scale, what you realize is that a singular client or a singular processor might be a little bit expensive because they might have the upper hand on you for pricing out volume. And so systems were created called payment ostracizers, or payment authorization is essentially the name of the process, where as volume is coming in, similarly as a stock market, they are picking buyers for that available volume. And so they're testing out each available price and pricing or giving to the lowest provider. Chamath had actually come out against this, saying that this will be the death of payments, right? Because it'll just be the lowest provider that will end up, supplying the volume. So imagine, every single taxi company at your exact location, and you go, I need a ride. And then they all go, that'll be 20, 18, 17, 16. I'll drive you for 12, whatever, right? So it can be a problem. What Adyen is coming out and saying is that, no, actually, we want to counter that idea, that our authorization rates are so great. And the idea that because still 15% of total online payments still get failed, right? They're false positives. They don't actually get authorized. And so companies are still on this incredible AI journey of trying to, within milliseconds, you have a 200 millisecond time frame to decide whether, this is a real transaction or not. Talk to the banks, is secure the actual purchase, go back. It all happens. And I think it's 224 milliseconds or something like this. It's an incredible short period of time. So what's end up happening, or at least what they're trying to show off, is that they're seeing large accelerations from massive clientele that just realized that Adyen just has such an advantage that even though they might have a pricing upper hand, the idea that a payment won't fail and that conversion can be higher is worth it to pay a premium. So while all of these other payment providers are fussing around with price, Adyen said, no, we are a premium option, but we will get the job done better than anyone. And that's why they deal with the biggest enterprises in the world. And that's true, by the way. If you ever want to break down exactly how these different payment companies break down into different segments of the market, one, Adyen, very European focused, breaking into North America. They just hired a ton of people in sales and engineering to break more into North America. They believe that they've done that. They think that their hiring will be slowed throughout then. And this is actually going to increase their margins, right? That's exactly what people wanted to see. They wanted to make sure that you could get affordable talent in US. It's much cheaper in other places of the world, but they're doing it, right? Now that they believe that they've done that, sorry, I wanted to talk about, I'm getting off topic, the areas in which each company really, really operates. Adyen, ultra high, enterprise, largest of the large. They dominate that area. They want to work their way down, and they are, getting into platforms. But really, who's dominating those platforms and individual merchants? Stripe. Stripe dominates small business. And then you have PayPal, Braintree, which is just getting sort of the budget payments, a lot of the cheaper side, and maybe some large clientele, but it's also not, like Braintree deals a lot with Meta, but they don't deal everything in Meta, right? They deal with a portion. And that's sort of the problem with payments, is you don't really know how to break down all those numbers. It's very black box. Okay. So funny. Okay, I'll transition to Affirm here in a second, but when will Affirm turn around? Well, let's see here for a sec. Let me go to Affirm stock. I just want to see over the last year. When will Affirm stock turn around? Well, it's up 207% from a year ago. So they're turned around. This is the thing, is that whenever you're pricing a company for unbelievable perfection over the last little bit, that you better deliver. And so let's pivot. We can always pivot back to Adyen, but I know that obviously, I even set the thing to talk about Affirm, and I thought I would at the time. But honestly, Adyen was so much more exciting. Okay, let's talk about Affirm here for a sec. Actually, let me block it. I can't. Whatever. These are the two columns that we really need to talk about. I'll try to block out everything else that's not needed. And I'll make it bigger. And I'll go down here. Okay. So, quarter two, fiscal quarter two, unbelievable numbers. GMV grew 61% year over year, 33% quarter over quarter. It is a holiday season. Although it says Q2, it's actually their real Q4, right? End of quarter, December 31st. Transactions, unbelievable. Active customers, great. Transactions per customer, awesome. Okay. All that is phenomenal in this column, by the way. Then revenue growing, stunningly. Transaction costs are lower than expected. Everything across the board, they did great this quarter, almost similarly to PayPal. The actual numbers were fine. What happened is outlook seemed to be kind of short. So GMV came in at $5.9 billion is what they're expecting. Perfectly okay that there's a decrease from quarter over quarter. You can see that even last year, right? Decrease year over year, 5.5%. But, a year ago, the stock was 200% cheaper, or sorry, I should say 66% lower, right? We would have to see a 66% decrease. So this growth rate is fine. To say, hey, it's going to be very similar to the year prior whenever you were paying, not a premium for this company is not what investors wanted to see. And so that's why you're not seeing that continued rally. The reason why it's even holding up in this price is I believe that they do have a real product differentiator, right? Similarly to Adyen, whenever you have a company that just completely is showing different credit underwriting, signing new deals all the time, that growth will get there eventually. That's the one thing about buying exceptional companies at okay valuations is you can wait them out, right? I wouldn't buy options, that's for sure, because it's not priced, in my opinion, reasonably. And now I don't want to offend anyone, but it's the same thing a little bit of Palantir. I don't think there's very many Palantir shareholders that say that would be a cheap company, but it's one of those things that the longer you wait, the cheaper it's going to be anyway. And so if you're going into such a total addressable market, even if the company is not putting up the numbers that necessarily translate to that valuation today, it will get there, right? So this is another thing I wanted to talk about. Operating margin 7% with full year at 11%. So even if you're talking about just this quarter, and adding in Q1, Q2, and then the 2 quarters that we haven't seen, 11% still brings down the average that we've seen in these first 2 quarters. It's just not exactly what investors wanted to see. They want to see acceleration, right? What makes a true growth company? We talk about this in the course all the time. You want to have accelerating growth rates and accelerating margins. You don't want to guide for the opposite. So people say this all the time. I want to address this, and I'm not picking on you, my friend. But in fact, it is buy now, pay later. People are paying. Like their credit underwriting is unbelievable. They do not see very many delinquencies. So this whole, buy now, pay never thing is just not true. Like people are paying back more than they're paying back a SoFi personal loan. So that is not the concern at all. Okay. Let's see what else here. So yeah, weak guidance is essentially what people are pricing in for Affirm. Now, during the earnings call, this was also kind of exciting. Let me pivot a little bit. Most of you know, I'm actually surprised how many people don't know this. However, it's not like I have it. Like, I think some people just judge me based on the thumbnails that I put out rather than the content, but I guess that's the job. My largest holdings that I've been pretty open with is Nvidia, Shopify, Tesla, Airbnb, Salesforce. These sort of companies have been longtime staples. Airbnb being the newest out of the bunch, obviously. But that being said, just because I talk about SoFi or something like this doesn't necessarily mean that it is number 6, by the way. So no concern. It's still a large percentage of my portfolio. But I like a lot of companies, and that's the way I like to run it. Shopify is extremely important to me. I'm very much looking forward to earnings come. I think that would fall under next week. Yeah, next week, Thursday, I think. I'm just going off the top of my head. And I can see Classic is in here, who's my Shopify buddy. He always gets me hyped up on $1 trillion market cap. That's not happening anytime soon. But I am under that belief that company long-term, similarly with the believers of Palantir, the longer I wait, the less risk I have on valuation because that company is growing, okay, exceptionally. The reason why I'm talking about this is twofold. In Affirm's earnings, I actually thought that this was a Shopify earnings call for a second. They brought up Shopify's name in like 4 different occasions. Shopify is the most exceptional partner we have. We can't believe the things that they're doing. Toby, Harley, and Cass all doing unbelievable things. Their team is so fast. They've had such a great quarter. The GMV growth over at Shopify is twice as high as any other platform that we're using. All this stuff, ding, 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 just music to my ears. And then they went on to say that, they're doing great things offline for 2024, and that we should expect to see some growth there. That actually lines up with a little tweet that Harley actually said, that the president of Shopify said. He tweeted out, I don't know, a month and a half ago, saying that people will stop calling us an e-commerce company, and we'll start to be known as a commerce company in total, right? I don't know what type of system that they have for point of sale or in-person sales that they're trying to do. I'm very excited for 2024. Either they have large clientele that they're rolling out, who knows? But Shopify Payments is becoming a huge deal, and they're, the pricing for that is pretty exceptionally low the bigger the clientele that you actually have. So let's talk about that. Number 2 for Shopify, and then I'll close out on the Shopify talk because you guys don't want to hear about good companies. So Shopify Plus is one of their, tiers that they have for their clientele. Okay. This is not one of them where if you go to shopify.com/pricing, you try to find a little thing for your e-commerce business, it's not going to show up. Okay. That's not how it works. This is for companies that are going as high as $500 million in payment volume each year. Okay. These are the highest of the high. You're talking about they've gotten clients with ButcherBox or, why am I even blanking on other big companies? Supreme. I don't know. A couple of them. I can think of them throughout this time. I can't think of them right now. So stupid. Okay. But this used to be, as of yesterday, a $2,000 a month, okay, yearly plan for Shopify large merchants. $2,000 a month. So they're bringing in USD $24,000 a year off of their large clientele. That was expensive. And that was priced higher than their competitors because Shopify had a differentiated product than other competition. Well, today we got a little bit of an update. It's not $2,000 anymore. They increased the price of their yearly term by 25%. So now if you're going to sign up for a year, it's going to cost you $30,000. Did I get that right? So, and then on a 3-year term, they increased it by 15%. So regardless, people are going to be paying more. Okay. 3-year terms, they're hoping that people sign up for a longer duration of time, right? You get a bigger discount as long as you sign up for a longer period of time. Stick with Shopify. And then I think they have it beautifully written right here. 4,500 engineers building the infrastructure and commerce features you need before you need them. That you're not sticking around with Shopify just because the products and services that they have today. It's about having the products and services that you'll have, as time goes on. They continue to be the fastest innovators. Now, a lot of people say, and they confuse, one of the things that they confuse so much about on Shopify that I think is a very, very hard thing to price differently. And it's very hard to price e-commerce platforms the same way as it is with payment companies. There's this weird thing that happens whenever you get to the very, very high end of commerce. During Black Friday, will Wix keep you online? Will WooCommerce keep you online? Will Squarespace keep you online? Will Salesforce Cloud, Commerce Cloud keep you online? Will BigCommerce keep you online? The answer is not as much as SoFi, Shopify, okay? SoFi, so stupid. That's Shopify because they have the best infrastructure across all of commerce. The most important part is that even during their Black Friday sales and all of the most important holiday seasons, the number one thing for companies is to make sure that their fees on payments stay as low as possible and that the company actually stays up to offer the products that they're trying to sell to you. And that is the hardest thing about pricing Shopify's, opportunity. Because people will look at that $30,000 a year plan and say, I can get similar things with $10,000, right? But it's not. And it's important that, and Shopify is really trying to do this. They just increased their basic plans up 33% last year. This follows an increase in pricing improvements just last year, where they saw what they called nominal drop-off of new clientele. That they increased their plans across the board by 33% and no one left. Because there's not another competition that offers everything that you can get at Shopify. And then whenever you consider the fact that every 6 months they drop something called Shopify Editions, where they show off the 100+ new additions that they added onto the platform just in the last 6 months. There's no development team that ships it as fast as Shopify does, okay? That's why they are, that looks so stupid. But that's why they're kings, because they ship it, okay? It's not that 2,500 is a lot if you're doing 500 million. That's not the important part. It's important to say that it's expensive whenever it's compared to its competitors. That's the differentiating factor. So 500 million is an upper bound range. You'll probably see people switch over to Shopify Commerce right around the times that they start passing that $1 million ARR. And that's the important part, right? The 30,000 on the $1 million that you're processing through the business is a lot. The important part, though, however, is that the amount that you'll save just because they'll bring down transaction volume or transaction pricing might even pay up for that $30,000. But still, it is expensive. It's not about what it is in the marketplace, what you're getting versus the competitors, market rate. And Shopify is just realizing, similarly with Adyen, that they're not trying to compete on price. There's two ways to make it in this world, right? There's an advantage. Oh God, my hair is all whatever. There's an advantage to be the lowest priced competition in the marketplace, but there's also an advantage to be the most expensive in a marketplace. That's where Shopify lands. Okay, I stood on that a little too long. Affirm, stocks down 12% in after hours. They were expecting $520 million in revenue. They saw $590 million, 14% beat. EPS expected negative 29 cents. They saw negative 20 cents, nearly a 45% beat. It was fine on the actual quarter, just a matter of guidance. If the stock gets back down to a reasonable range, I just don't think they are right now. I look at a company like Shopify, not Shopify, sorry. I mix up all these names, man. SoFi. SoFi, whenever I look at the company, similar revenues, decent enough growths, almost less than half the market cap now at this point. Yeah, practically almost half the market cap. It's like they're not priced similarly. One is priced like exceptionally, and I wish that I had looked at it earlier. Obviously, I mean, like let's be real. It's just as a buy now, pay later exclusive company, I was very hesitant. Affirm card came in and they're doing extremely well on that, and it looks like it's not going to slow down. And their deposit accounts make it a full service financial institution, which is more up my alley. And I really, really like that because that gets me away from the risk that a company that has a better pricing structure like PayPal can come in and then just beat them because they'll charge the merchants less. I don't know. Max sounds more bullish on Shopify than he does. Yeah, well, and the reason why Shopify, by the way, is so good to a company like Affirm is that they own a large piece of them. Max Levchin was kind of smart. He went in and said, hey, do we want to pay for customer acquisition costs and pay companies like Meta? Or, do we want to give our money to Amazon and Shopify in terms of actual shares, and then they will push our growth for us, right? Put us at the top because it's in your benefit to do so. So, yeah. Chuck, you got it, man. Affirm share price had already priced in all of those, all the numbers that we saw this quarter. It was a great quarter. It was totally priced in. You can't have a 3-month 200% gain or whatever it was, or 100 and something percent gain, and then go, why didn't it run? It's like, it can't run forever. It's even what I'm thinking about NVIDIA right now. It's like, yeah, it's doing unbelievable, but if there's even a bump in the road, it will come down. Same thing that happened with Tesla. Tesla ran up to an unbelievable, like $1+ trillion market cap, and it was priced for everything to go right. And then any speed bump, any Elon Musk thing, any X acquisition, or not acquisition, sorry, just his own personal buying of the company, that, it can bring it down because there's any little bump. And NVIDIA, although pricing for perfect growth right now, and people can still have the argument that it's cheap for the PEG ratio going forward, it's not cheap if any of those expectations are not met. And that includes something as easy as Affirm's guidance, right? If guidance is weak, if any of these things, that's what you're seeing. 12% down after hours. Yeah. Buy now, pay later. That is so freaking funny. Buy now, pay later is way closer to SoFi credit card than yeah, because their default rates are like 18%. Whenever you're talking about like Affirm at 2.4%, you got it all wrong. Buy now, pay never is SoFi's credit card. That is hilarious. That's so true. Oh gosh. And I think actually I saw this article come out. I think I saved it. Where is it? That Affirm had taken away, or maybe it was Affirm and Klarna had taken away some of their. Here, let's read through this article and then I'll get going. I didn't actually get to read this yet. So I just saw this the other day. Payments put it out. Affirm Afterpay cut rewards program as buy now, pay later firms try new loyalty models. Okay, there we go. On Monday, Affirm shut down its reward program, which offered points per buy now, pay later purchases that could be redeemed for $5 or $10 off loans at select merchants. The fintech company will continue to allow program participants to use their existing points until April 5th. We're constantly testing new features and looking for ways to improve Affirm's products. While Affirm's rewards beta program will no longer be available, we'll be continuing to explore how we can bring a best-in-class rewards experience to our customers. Afterpay 2 is making changes. The company shut down its Pulse Rewards program, which have been around some form of another since 2020. Our brand new rewards program will launch in 2024. As a result, Pulse Rewards will close on the 31st of January, 2024. Klarna. Okay, so it just looks like they're going to be transitioning into a new rewards program. That Affirm was exploring the introduction of a subscription service called Affirm Plus. I remember this. This was like $7 a month, right? As revealed by code found in the firm's iPhone application with subscriber benefits, including a 0% annual percentage rate on installment loans of $2,500. Yeah, I think Klarna does a similar thing. Klarna Plus, yeah, subscription charging $7.99. Okay, well, this is the nerdy stuff that payment nerds like myself like to read through. I don't know how engaging this is for you guys, but I did read something along those lines. I just wanted to go through that, make sure I'm not missing a big story. It doesn't look like one, however. Affirm still bullish. So I've never been bullish, and to my own. I mean, I wish I was back whenever, like, you could have got this company in the last, when was this? January of 2023. You could have got this company at $8.62. Now at after today, it'll be at $43. That's not bad. They've hit a new area where they're not seemingly dropping below that $36 mark, but still, I mean, that might seem a little expensive. I haven't done a valuation on the company. Just comparatively, I think you're pricing in a lot that this company has a much better product offering than other fintechs, and that could be the case. I haven't looked into it nearly close enough. And you could see the same thing with Robinhood too. By the way, I think that they could fall under that camp. That could get completely repriced if there is a new love that comes for their products. Here, I think I'm going to get real bright here, but whatever. Let's do a couple of questions. I'm just hanging out at this point. As a SoFi shareholder, why can't SoFi offer products to beat Affirm? Well, I think the question really is in the comment that you made earlier, is that they're having a real hard time underwriting, credit cards, and Affirm has found a secret sauce. And now I have a conversation coming out on, what is it, Saturday, I think, where this person is very skeptical anytime that a company says that they have better underwriting standards than other companies, or that they've cracked or found that secret sauce. But it's hard to deny ETF. But it's hard to deny that the default rates that they're putting out in this current environment are not great. Like they've held up what they said that they've held up. Do we have a SoFi Weekly tomorrow? Why ask silly questions? Of course we do. Of course we do. Do you think that SoFi run-up is going to hold above $8? I make no predictions on that. It's not that I don't care, but it's impossible for me to know. I've never been ask Jesse, ask Jesse Dow, ask, some of these people. I find what I've just been more fascinated about, especially whenever picking stocks, is just better research. I want to know a company better than anyone else. That's what I think that I've been good at. Not good at it. I just have the time to do it. How is Tanner really doing? Tanner's good. I'm great. I'm doing fine. I got to work out more. Every single time I lift my arm and I see this little arm, I'm like, God damn. But yeah, just getting into a better routine, and it's been busier than ever. But busyness is good. I'm liking it so far. And yeah. SoFi offers so many more products than Affirm, as well as it's an entire financial platform completely. And they'll have a lot of advantages being an actual bank, which is nice. What's going to give us a tech multiple on SoFi? They're priced like a legacy bank with no growth. I won't say that. They are priced for growth. They're not priced like Citi or any of these companies. I mean, like JP Morgan is growing. They're priced similarly to JP Morgan, but they're also priced like the strongest bank in America. Yeah, I think that whenever it comes to getting a tech multiple, that it's just a matter of putting up accelerated growth. People want to see some level of large new clients come onto the platform that are actually monetizing. I don't think that it's like that's too big of an ask. You know? I think that it was a very quiet 2023 for SoFi's tech platform. What we put up, 13% growth. It's just not what people thought. Like you don't get a tech platform by making revenue grow in the slowest segment of your business. Financial services outperform that. Lending outperform that. And then they deserve a tech platform because it's their slowest segment. No, you might as well have just thrown that money towards lending. It would have made you a ton more. Affirm doesn't have Galileo. Yeah, they have Marqeta. Not saying that Marqeta is superior. They are in terms of the offering that they have with credit cards, but the pricing is better. We just need bigger clientele as well. But they do have a modern solution. It's not like Affirm was built on some clunky card program like from Citigroup or something. Like, no, it's built by Marqeta. It's a modern solution. Same company that built the Cash App card. Same company that builds Coinbase. Uber. Only problem is Marqeta, whenever they go and create these card programs and set that all up for you on your side, then they also need to go out and reach out to an issuing bank partner to then help facilitate the card actually being set up and then facilitating that. They don't make, I'm sure they make a small amount of affiliate revenue, but it's really the issuing bank that's taking that profit. Whenever you're talking about SoFi, the greatest part, and where I think that they do have an advantage, is they go, hey, we can set up a card program for you. Oh, your back-end infrastructure is actually, kind of old school, like going into FedNow. We probably suggest that if you're going to handle real-time payments, that you should probably be on a more modern solution. Technisys can help out with that. SoFi Bank, like we're an actually chartered bank. Like we can handle the issuing of your cards. We can handle depositing or taking in customer deposits. That's been an interesting thing for me. Galileo, for years and years, has never made net interest income. All of a sudden, quarter over quarter, the last 2 quarters, they've been making accelerating net interest income. Am I crazy to assume, and this is just truthfully because I haven't done enough research into it and I don't know who to talk to, but like, could that be because that's where money is coming onto the platform through Technisys? Like, I need to do more looking up, but did Strongman reach out to you? I thought you handled them really well. Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, we texted after that day. I just said, thanks for coming on in such short notice. And he said, thanks for having me. Yeah, Yeah, I just think it's a matter of differing opinions. I don't think that that it's a problem to sell a product, and I don't think that you need to be an accountant or something to sell a product. Some of the most successful people in America is just because they had a better ideas, and I think my ideas are pretty great. And if you don't like my ideas, don't buy it. I don't think that's a scam. The course has been a success, and there's not been a single person that's asked for a refund. So I think I'm selling a good product. I'm only going to keep adding to it. So yeah, I'm doing me. What do I think of new? I think great things. It's my second biggest fintech position. And, if it keeps doing what it's doing, if there's ever a dip, it might become my largest. It's an unbelievable company. You should interview a SoFi employee. I've been talking with management. They just literally won't come on. They say we're too stock focused rather than product focused, and they don't want to have a stock conversation. New went lower after last earnings. Why? Will be the same, you think? I'm not sure. Honestly, I think that it has to do a lot with what? Oh, sorry. Okay, I don't know what you're talking about, but you're talking about the SoFi thing. Okay, wait. One question at a time. So Nubank, yeah. So there's a lot of political discussions about changes of interest rates on their cards. That could go on for a really long time. I just think that they need to continue to, you know, uh, grow. And 2024 is going to be all about Mexico. So that's honestly what I'm focused on. I don't even really care what the stock does as long as it on the upside, I don't care. Downside, I'm going to look to buy more. I've made my mind up about that company. I think I'm 100% right. For my portfolio, I think it's a great company. I think I'm product focused. I just don't know if I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if they look at me and they see all the thumbnails. Like, I know that they've seen the SoFi Weekly. We've already been told about that, and they like it. But I don't know if they see the thumbnails and then they want like a legitimate I don't know. I don't know if I'm burying myself in a hole with these thumbnails or whatever. I don't care. 100%. No problem with being rewarded for the time. That's why I subbed to the channel. And thank you. And you've actually gifted some subscriptions, so really appreciate that. So I'll take this question half. I personally, I will do a lot more on YouTube whenever it's my full-time job. The idea that I could rival Meet Kevin, not a chance. He might be one of the hardest working people I think I've ever got to watch. It's like unbelievable. Like, I could never match his speed. So I disagree with that, but a lot of it's just my free time. So I've kind of been talking about, like, at what point does my YouTube earnings have to, like, I think I'll take a leap of faith with YouTube before it even reaches my full-time revenue like earnings from work, because like I just enjoy this so much more, and I believe that if I do put my full focus into it, that it'll grow even faster than if I did it half-heartedly. So I'll make the jump sooner than sooner than I'll feel comfortable with. I'll really take that leap. But yeah, I don't know. So no dyeing your hair green? No, I like my hair. It's fine. I heard some things are happening with his family. I hope he's doing okay. It's got to be like literally the scariest thing. You're trying to run a business and like things are going wrong. And I could like, that's the scariest stuff about getting older for me. It's just like how things around you can change. It's nuts. And it's crazy how as things are falling apart that the rest of your life can completely stay intact. Anyway, that's off topic, but PayPal going to $50? Potentially, yeah. I don't think that that's where the stock will hang out if management continues to try to improve. I think that they just need to get under the, like, I think they got overly enthusiastic and then got burnt, and then they went like super under promise, over deliver, and then they got burnt. And they need to find their way, and it's a completely new management team. That's the problem. Is like, is it the blind leading the blind here? I don't know. Cyrus, that is life, my friend. It's weird. But yeah, I don't know. Noto went on 2 interviews day of earnings. Chris didn't. I agree. And I think that Chris needs to like understand what he has to do. He has to go back and repitch this company. Just because you have 400 million members doesn't mean that you don't need to get your name out there. SoFi should buy Lemonade. It's been talked about. I heard people talking today, I think, about SoFi buying Pagaya, which I thought was interesting. But at what price? Oh, Cyrus saying PayPal's going to $45. Yeah. But can you imagine what the buybacks would do at $45? And like at least 5 billion. So if they do like $7-8 billion of buybacks when the company is at $45 a share, like what is that? That's yeah, you'd be buying like 18% almost of the company that year. Like back? Like, do people really hate that company that much? That seems insane to me. Like, if that was a dividend, that's like an 18% freaking thing. Like, that's the way that you should think about it, is total shareholder return. Did I check out Confluent? No. I don't know what you're talking about. I'll be buying. I bought today. Well, if you said it's going to 45, why'd you buy today? Do you think there's a good chance that PayPal will implement a dividend later this year? No, I do not. I think that they will do buybacks. That's at least the way I think of it. Since you're being so chatty, if SoFi were to buy one company this year, which one would you pick? I would seriously, like, I think the Pagaya purchase would be exciting. It's just a matter of what price. Like, would you need to pay $2+ billion for it? That might start getting really expensive. But, you know, I think that SoFi is really getting sick of third-party risk, and every company that they seemingly try to work with, they end up buying. And so, I don't know. They do work with Pagaya right now. That's how they offset a lot of their loans. A lot of the loans that they don't want to actually end up purchasing. All right, I am going to get going. I think they should buy M1 Finance. I don't know if that'll happen, but it could. I guess they could just buy a better brokerage if they can't build one. But I honestly think that they're pretty happy with the Invest platform right now. I've been reading around. I don't even think that they think it's a bad product nearly as much as, you know, the YouTube audience does. Focus on profitable growth, letting results speak for themselves and acknowledging the positivity. Yeah, they didn't talk about margin inflection at all. I thought that was really, um, really weird. Yeah, Pagaya is $1.10 stock. Yeah. All right. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for the support. Bye for now.